You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
At the LASIK Vision Institute, we know LASIK is a big decision, and every one of our patients is unique. That's why we customize your LASIK journey to you.
I only have a certain budget.
No problem. Right now at the LASIK Vision Institute, get 20% off LASIK when treated in April. That can be over $900 off when treating both eyes, plus guaranteed financing options. So visit GetLVILASIK.com today to start your journey towards 20/20 vision. Must mention this promotion and be treated in April of 2024 to qualify. 20% off standard price of wave light procedure. Cannot be combined with any other offers. Go to GetLVILASIK.com for details. At the LASIK Vision Institute, we know LASIK is a big decision, and every one of our patients is unique. That's why we customize your LASIK journey to you.
I'm so busy right now.
We offer a mix of convenient days and times, including 30-minute virtual appointments to fit your schedule.
I would love it, but I have astigmatism.
We treat thousands of patients with astigmatism every month with great outcomes. The LASIK Vision Institute is making your journey towards 20/20 vision all about you. So visit GetLVILASIK.com today to start your LASIK journey.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis. And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, Pop-Up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu, I drive like a gangster when I'm coming to see you, see you.
Hi, everyone. This is JJ, the co-founder of Good Pods. If you haven't heard of it yet, Good Pods is like Goodreads or Instagram, but for podcasts. It's new, it's social, it's different, and it's growing really fast. There are more than 2 million podcasts, and we know that it is impossible to figure out what to listen to. On Good Pods, you follow your friends and podcasters to see what they like. That is the #1 way to discover new shows and episodes. You can find Good Pods on the web or download the app. Happy listening.
Ready to stand out, Army ROTC prepares you not only as a college student, but as a strong leader, allowing you to earn the rank of second lieutenant. You will be eligible for full tuition merit-based scholarships and develop leadership skills essential for your future. Start strong and enhance your college experience. Visit your campus Army ROTC representative today. To find out how you can earn up to a full tuition scholarship, visit goarmy.com/podcast to locate your closest ROTC program today. Army officers inspire, strengthen others. Paid for by the United States Army.
Not to be a backseat driver, but can you say for sure you got the best monthly payment possible on your auto loan? Could it be that you might have gotten a better deal by shopping the loan at a few places and have a lower car payment? Next time, before you go car shopping, visit Communication Federal Credit Union first. Our auto loan experts will find you a perfect loan and get you the lowest monthly payment we can. Communication Federal, your auto loan experts. Restrictions apply. Federally insured by NCUA.
I'm Jordan Klinger, an attorney at McIntyre Law. The decision to hire an attorney after you've been injured is important. The decision on who to hire is even more important. At McIntyre Law, we will settle a case if the offer to our client is fair. Partial justice is no justice at all. At McIntyre Law, we are committed to obtaining full justice for our clients. Contact McIntyre Law at 405-917-5200 or visit us at McIntyreLaw.com.
I am Conor McGregor, multiple weight MMA champion. I'm a fighter and I've been through many battles in the octagon. Many consider my fights in the octagon heroic, but the real life heroes are those men and women who fight to protect us every day. The real-life fighters, the real-life heroes, are the firefighters and police officers. These first responders are true heroes because these brave men and women put themselves in the line of danger every single day protecting us all. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation ensures that first responders from fire, EMS and police departments who are killed in the line of duty with young children have a home without the burden of a mortgage. They are my heroes. They need our help today. I'd like to ask you to join me in donating $11 a month to support their efforts. Your $11 a month honours and supports our first responders. Please call now at 1-844-BRAVEST or visit tunneltotowers.org.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
I take a breath, I'm not gonna lose. This is what I came here to do.
Keep on doing what you do, Rick. You're my favorite host. Favorite.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
It's time to hear the truth about America's biggest challenges. You're listening to America Off the Rails with your host, Rick Robinson.
Good evening, America, and welcome to the program. I am Rick Robinson. This is one of my shows. We're going to start doing this thing again every Sunday night. Decided to kick it off Memorial Day weekend again because it seems like the perfect time to do it. So we're getting things dialed in with a new board, etc. So I'm going to get some feedback in the chat for a second. See if now I've done some checks on my own and it sounds great on my end, but chat's more picky than I am. So we're going to hear from them in a second, see what they say. But anyway, so we're here, we're live, and while we're getting some things dialed in, I have some audio that I want you guys to hear. We're going to kind of skip the monologue tonight since I have some things I'm still trying to get dialed in last minute. But I wanted to start with this because Trump has been look, I didn't want to have to vote for Lord Spraytan again either. Let's just get that out of the way right now. I didn't want a rematch between the cauliflower in chief and Lord Spraytan, but that's pretty much where we are. What's surprising me is Donald Trump is going into places that very few Republicans have gone before. In some cases, almost like no Republicans have gone before. I have some audio that I want you guys to hear today of him speaking at the Libertarian Convention. So let's get that queued up real quick.
Think of this. First time in U.S. history that a presidential candidate of a rival party will address the convention of a party that is presumably gathering to nominate its own candidate. Now I think you should nominate me or at least vote for me, and we should win together. You heard those words. Nominate me or vote. Vote for me. Because the Libertarians want to vote for me, and most of them will. And it's very important. Because we have to get rid of the worst president in history, and together we will. And without it, there's a risk that we could have 4 more years, we won't have a country left. So what is the purpose of the Libertarian Party getting 3%? What is the reason to take a chance of having this horrible president destroy our country, which he will do in far less than 4 years? It's not going to take 4 years. That is why I'm committing to you tonight that I will put a libertarian in my cabinet and also libertarians in senior posts. pretty good. That's pretty big. Or you can keep going the way you have for the last long decades and get your 3% and meet again, get another 3%. No, you want to make yourself winners. It's time to be winners. You have a lot of common sense. It's time to be a winner.
All right, so there you have the former president hoping to be president again. Going into the lion's den in so many ways when you think about it, because Libertarian Party, trust me, I know this from previous experience, is not very friendly to straight-on conservatives. I know this because if you've been listening for a while, you know that in 2015, I changed party affiliations after I helped push the needle to get the Libertarian Party on the ballot here in Oklahoma, and I was so disenfranchised with Trump that I had the head of the Libertarian Party on this particular show multiple times back when I was doing this one 5 nights a week for the entire election cycle, until one night during a break he finally said to me, I know what it is that you're trying to do, and we don't really want disaffected Republicans in our party. I said, okay, that's fine. We'll finish this segment. This will be the last time you'll be on my show. But he did ask that I never repeat that. Of course, the next night I told everybody listening exactly what he said. Because you don't diss me or my listeners, my dude. You just don't do that. But anyway, I thought it was interesting that, so we had Trump in the Bronx earlier in the week. Got a clip from that, actually a couple of shorter ones that I probably will play here in just a second. But I kind of wanted to talk about this part because he's doing things that I haven't seen very many Republicans do in a long time. And I think he's doing them because he knows how bad everyone is seeing everything right now. Now, I will say this because we've joked about this for a long time. Gen X, in a lot of ways, has been what I like to call the forgotten generation, because we tried to keep our heads down, do our jobs, raise our families, live the American dream, and then it slowly started being taken away from us. Unfortunately, we didn't realize it, but the process to take it away from us had started long before we ever came on the scene. Just unfortunately, things have started escalating because they're getting really, really close to that point. So in a lot of ways, Gen X is finally starting to wake up. There's been this weird, like Sharks versus Jets thing going on with the millennials and the boomers for a while. Gen X kind of skipped over that. We stayed out of it. We were kind of laughing at both of them. But now Gen Z has decided that we are the worst generation ever. And I think they're about to get a rude awakening because they're used to things like safe spaces and, trigger warnings and safety labels on everything of don't do this or it could hurt you. We didn't have any of that stuff. Hell, my generation is the reason we have those things now. Let's just be real about it. We are probably one of the smallest generations on the planet because we thinned the herd ourselves, because we did all the stupid shit. And only those of us that are still here are survivors. It was called survival of the fittest for a reason. One of our biggest sayings when I was growing up was, well, let's see how that works out. I mean, how many of you remember when you were a kid, assuming you were born sometime around when I was? So for Gen X, that's usually, I believe, 65 to 80 is the time frame they typically use. Most commonly, you'll see a few other places here and there that try to, move it a little bit one way or the other. But then you've got the cusp millennials, which we have adopted quite a few of those. Jen Homestead, one of my co-hosts, is considered a millennial, what I consider her Gen X, because she has a lot of the same mindsets that we do, even though she doesn't fit the generational time frame, so to speak. But the whole point of all of that is we were the ones that were doing things just to see if they could get done. And the funniest thing about Gen Z is everything that they've used to determine that we're like the worst possible generation ever was actually invented by my generation. Who you guys think made Google? Just saying. I mean, you know, I don't know if we want to actually, you know, tout that as an accomplishment or anything, considering what they've done with Google and through Google. But, you know, if you're really going to tout, you know, having all of the information at your fingertips, etc., you should probably realize who put that information in front of you. All right, so here is another clip from the rally. I'm trying to see. No, that's not actually a clip, though. It's like the whole thing. I had some clips the other day. Now it seems like I'm having trouble finding them. Funny how that works. Here's a pretty good one.
To a place where they can get help and the help that they desperately need. I want to recognize, by the way, a few very special people. You have some really great people here, and I'm sorry I can't mention all. We have congressmen all over the place, but I just can't mention you today. You're never going to speak to me, but would anybody like to hear these congressmen's names? But I do have to mention a few people. We're truly honored to be joined by a man who is a Democrat and a former member of the New York City Council, and he's been a friend of mine, and he helped me very much with the Ferry Point project and getting it working, and did a really good job. Ruben Diaz Sr. Come on up, Ruben. Good. Good. You look beautiful. Please.
Thank you. Mr. President, I am a Puerto Rican, a black Puerto Rican. I used to be a state senator for 15 years. And I used to be city council member. Today I'm here for various reasons. But I want to tell you first that as a Puerto Rican, as a Hispanic, I want to apologize to you for the conduct of Judge Juan Merchan. As a Hispanic, I want to apologize.
Thank you.
He's been used. He has been used to destroy you. But we know better than that. We know better than that. As a minister, president of the New York Hispanic Clergy Organization, I want to tell AOC this morning she intended to become a prophet. And she said, even God doesn't want Trump in the Bronx because it's going to rain. Madam Prophet AOC, you have become a false prophet. Look at what a beautiful day. That means that not only you guys want Trump in the Bronx, because if we're going to measure that for the weather, then I would say humbly that even God wants you in the Bronx. And I want to close by saying, Mr. President, I want to join you in having the Bronx great again. Please accept this Democrat, this black Puerto Rican with a kinky hair and a broken English. Please accept my endorsement for you as a president. Thank you very much.
Beautiful job. Thank you.
All right, so there you heard a former Democrat, and actually the funny thing is, if you go back and you watch that speech, it was loaded with people that claim that they used to be Democrats that are now voting for him. You're hearing people shout USA, USA, USA in the Bronx. If this isn't proof positive that the Democratic Party is losing touch with not only the American people, but its own voter base. Now, I don't know if this is going to be enough for Trump to win New York or not, but I do know that this should be scaring every liberal in the country. Because, look, Joe Biden was handed an economy that was already recovering. Joe Biden was handed a secure border. He literally didn't have to do anything for 4 years, except for keep doing what Trump was already doing. And he would have guaranteed another 4 years, and then could have done whatever the hell he wanted to do. That's the scariest part, is if he had half a brain, we would have been hosed. Because he could have just coasted for most of the first 4 years, maybe started tweaking a few things in the final year, enough to probably get some conservative people's attention, but not enough to get his base's attention, and just left things the way they were. And a lot of his base would probably still be okay, because the one thing that I will say that I have noticed watching Donald Trump, now granted, he hasn't been able to do as many speeches this time as he was able to do in 2015, 2016, but I don't think it's hurting him this time. And again, I just want you to remember, I'm telling you this as someone who did not want to have to vote for Lord Spraytan again. But I'm still telling you exactly what I'm seeing. Because he is talking about the issues. Joe Biden, in the few times he can make coherent thoughts, which are now few and far between, is talking about abstract things. Donald Trump is talking about the things that the American people are having to face right now. Joe Biden is talking about things like democracy. The thing about it is, that only works for so long, and that only goes so far. And the truth of it is, we're not even a democracy. And there are quite a few people that are smart enough to understand that. And I know some of you are like, what do you mean we're not a democracy? We are a republic. There is a vast difference between a democracy and a republic. The reason most of you think that we are a democracy is because the last time you had any type of a civics or history lesson was probably sometime between the first and the third grade. And at that time, that's what they taught you because it was the easiest way for you to understand it, is that America is a democracy. But it's not. Democracy is a direct form of rule. Basically, one person, one vote, everybody decides. A democracy can literally turn on a dime. We are a representative republic, which is often confused as a form of a democracy, but in reality, it really isn't. Because you are electing representatives that are supposed to go to your seat of government and do your will, because that's why you sent them there. And it is a much slower moving, slower turning form of government, which is why up until now, even though they have been trying to make America communist for over 100 years, it hasn't really been working very well. But with all of the changes to the Constitution and all of the changes to our voting laws, they have almost everything in place that they need. The problem is, at least what I hope the problem is they severely overplayed their hand with COVID. So a lot of people that were asleep are finally awake. Now, there have been a couple of other hiccups along the way that have woken people up. So I don't know if they're going to stay awake long enough or not. Only time will tell. That's the only way that we're going to know. Only time will tell. If they're just going to roll over and go back to sleep. But I know more of Gen X has been awakened than I have ever seen, and I know this because a lot of them are taking to places like TikTok now and actually picking fights with the Gen Z people that are telling us how badly we suck. They're like, you're going to regret this, but here you go. And I said something similar today as we get ready to take probably the only break of the show that we're going to take, because I was inspired by some stuff that I had been watching lately. I have to get back to it now. Yes, I could probably say most of it, if not all of it, without looking it up, but I still want to anyway. So bear with me a moment, because it'll be a minute, because my feed's been kind of nuts today. I think I either passed it already, or I missed it somewhere. Oh, wait, there we go. Haha. All right, so I put this out this morning. I was in Sunday school class playing on Twitter. Don't judge me. Dear Gen Z, we tried minding our own business, taking care of our families, and living our lives. But you chose feeling over facts. But you chose to idolize tyrants. But you chose to hate this country that allows you to do so in the first place. But you chose serfdom over freedom. Now we're waking up, and we're going to fix what you're trying to break. When we've done so, we are going to fade back into the shadows. Don't fuck it up again. Signed, Gen X. We really just wanted to be left alone. We wanted to live our lives. We wanted the government to leave us alone. We wanted you to leave us alone. But most of all, we just wanted to be happy. But now you idiots are embracing communism and saying, well, it's got to be better than this. You idiots are celebrating heroes like heroes like Che Guevara, who is not a hero, by the way, and talking about how Mussolini wasn't so bad and maybe Hitler wasn't so bad because he didn't really like the Jews either. And definitely Mao's wasn't so bad because, and I'm just looking at this going, do people even understand what you're talking about anymore? But here's the thing, folks. Here's the thing that you need to understand. And I've noted this is just as true for pretty much everyone who has jumped the shark when it comes to content creation. Now that everything can be monetized, some people just say really stupid stuff for clicks. And I think we need to find our way back from that again. I get it. I really, really, really want to monetize every little thing that I can now that I'm doing this for a living. I really, really do. But I will not just say outlandish things just for the sake of saying outlandish things in the hope that something gets picked up and somebody runs with it. That is not what I do. That is not what I have ever done. So some of this, yes, I think is staged. I mean, it's just like one of the guys that I really, really like used to go by Dadbot Veteran until his account got jacked, and now it's DBV Nation. I didn't even realize until he did a video because he was pissed off because his account got taken away from him because somebody stole his Facebook page, that the accent that he used wasn't his accent. I get it. Gimmicks sell. And it's cute, and it's fun. But to me, it just seems disingenuous. Maybe it's just me. All right, so we are going to take probably the only break of the show. When we come back, we're going to change tactics, and then we're going to spend the last few minutes talking about Memorial Day. But Ted Cruz was on fire this week, and I don't know how many people actually heard about it. So we're going to talk about that when we come back. All right, well, let's get some stuff queued up here. Oh, never mind, it was muted. Sorry, learning new board. I promise this will not be this complicated for long. All right, so let's do that instead. Let's see where we want to go. You know what? This one works. I like this song, and it's Sunday night. We'll be a little mellow for Sunday night because I'm hoping to go to bed soon. It's been a long weekend, especially since I've only done about a third of the work that I was supposed to do. All right, you are listening to the America Off the Rails show live right here on KLRN Radio, and we'll be right back. This is my show, Do this thing every Sunday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on KLRNradio.com. And we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
I know this life can really beat you down. You wanna scream, but you won't make a sound. Got so much weight that you've been holding, but won't show any emotion. As a man that goes unspoken, that we can't cry when life gets hard. Unconditional loves for women, children, and dogs. We know that we just have to play our parts, and don't nobody give a damn about our broken hearts.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
At the LASIK Vision Institute, we know LASIK is a big decision, and every one of our patients is unique. That's why we customize your LASIK journey to you.
I only have a certain budget.
No problem. Right now at the LASIK Vision Institute, get 20% off LASIK when treated in April. That can be over $900 off when treating both eyes, plus guaranteed financing options. So visit GetLVILASIK.com today to start your journey towards 20/20 vision. Must mention this promotion and be treated in April of 2024 to qualify. 20% off standard price of wave light procedure. Cannot be combined with any other offers. Go to GetLVILASIK.com for details. At the LASIK Vision Institute, we know LASIK is a big decision, and every one of our patients is unique. That's why we customize your LASIK journey to you.
I'm so busy right now.
We offer a mix of convenient days and times, including 30-minute virtual appointments to fit your schedule.
I would love it, but I have astigmatism.
We treat thousands of patients with astigmatism every month with great outcomes. The LASIK Vision Institute is making your journey towards 20/20 vision all about you. So visit GetLVILASIK.com today to start your LASIK journey.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis. And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, pop up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu, I drive like a gangster when I'm coming to see you, see you.
Hi, everyone. This is JJ, the co-founder of Good Pods. If you haven't heard of it yet, Good Pods is like Goodreads or Instagram, but for podcasts. It's new, it's social, it's different, and it's growing really fast. There are more than 2 million podcasts, and we know that it is impossible to figure out what to listen to. On Good Pods, you follow your friends and podcasters to see what they like. That is the #1 way to discover new shows and episodes. You can find Good Pods on the web or download the app. Happy listening.
Not to be a backseat driver, but can you say for sure you got the best monthly payment possible on your auto loan? Could it be that you might have gotten a better deal by shopping the loan at a few places and have a lower car payment? Next time, before you go car shopping, visit Communication Federal Credit Union first. Our auto loan experts will find you a perfect loan and get you the lowest monthly payment we can. Communication Federal, your auto loan experts. Restrictions apply. Federally insured by NCUA.
I am Conor McGregor, multiple weight MMA champion. I'm a fighter and I've been through many battles in the octagon. Many consider my fights in the octagon heroic, but the real life heroes are those men and women who fight to protect us every day. The real life fighters, the real life heroes are the firefighters and police officers. These first responders are true heroes because these brave men and women put themselves in the line of danger every single day protecting us all. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation ensures that first responders from fire, EMS and police departments who are killed in the line of duty with young children have a home without the burden of a mortgage. They are my heroes. They need our help today. I'd like to ask you to join me in donating $11 a month to support their efforts. Your $11 a month honours and supports our first responders. Please call now at 1-844-BRAVEST or visit tunneltotowers.org.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
I've been trying to break away, free myself from yesterday. Nothing's gonna hold me down. Tired of the static noise, think it's time to make a choice. Let go of the old me now. Fighting all the monsters hiding under my skin. They try to kill my confidence, but I'm still standing. So pull the cord, I'm back to life. The switch is tripping in my head. So pull the cord, it's paradise. The switch is tripping in my head.
And welcome back into the program, ladies and gentlemen. I am Rick Robinson. This is one of my shows. We do this one every Sunday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, right here live on KLRNradio.com. Hope everybody's having a great Sunday night. All right, as promised, as soon as I get the board reset here, because, doing multiple things, same slider. Gonna have to figure that out one of these days. But anyway, sorry. Talking to myself, not you guys. The show's going to be a little different for probably a few days while I get used to the new integrated equipment. So don't mind me. But as promised, Ted Cruz kind of went a little postal recently. This is from a Judiciary Committee hearing that was held not too long ago, actually 4 days ago. Bit of a longer clip, which is why we're only taking one break. But I want you guys to hear this whole thing, so hang on.
Government did not move for a stay of the decision.
Well, Judge Netburn, I'm going to continue on this line of questioning. In your court, what matters more, the rights of individuals or your political ideology?
I apply the law to the facts.
I asked a question, which matters more?
Well, my political ideology doesn't matter at all.
Okay, so I don't believe you. And I think this case demonstrates that you are willing to subjugate the rights of individuals to satisfy your political ideology. This case involves a male defendant who raped a 9-year-old boy. Was he guilty of that?
Yes, the petitioner pled guilty to that.
Okay, so he raped a 9-year-old boy. He also raped a 17-year-old girl. Was he guilty of that?
He pled guilty. The petitioner pled guilty to that crime as well.
So was he guilty?
I hope so, because she pled guilty to it.
He was a he when he did this.
That's correct.
And also criminal deviant conduct, which the record doesn't disclose what that was exactly. Then, after serving in prison, Mr. McClain was released for parole, but then violated the terms of parole by having internet and was sent back to prison. 1 year after being released again, he was convicted of having child pornography. Is that correct?
I'm unclear on exactly the time frame that you're at, but the petitioner was convicted of distributing child pornography.
Child pornography that was images of adults violently raping children.
Abhorrent conduct.
Okay.
For which there are real victims.
And this individual, 6'2", biologically a man. A minute ago you said that when this man decided that he was a she, you said this individual was, quote, I wrote it down, sober and entirely a female. That phrase struck me as remarkable. Did this individual have male genitalia?
I think what I said, or at least what
that is a verbatim quote, entirely a female.
Sorry, what I meant to say was hormonally a female.
Okay, but that's not entirely. Did this individual have male genitalia?
Yes.
So you took a 6'2", serial rapist, serial child rapist with male genitalia, and he said, you know, I'd like to be in a women's prison. And your answer was, that sounds great to me. Let me ask you something. The other women in that prison, do they have any rights?
Is that a question you're
Yes,
asking me?
the other women in that prison, do they have any rights?
Of course.
Do they have the right not to have a 6'2" man who is a repeat serial rapist put in as their cellmate?
Senator Cruz, I considered the facts presented to me, and I reached a decision
I asked you a
based on what
question.
the law
I asked
is.
you a question. Do they have a right not to have a 6'2" man who is a serial rapist put in as their cellmate? Do those women have a right to that?
Every person who's incarcerated has the right to be safe in their space.
But you didn't think so. You didn't think so. And in fact, I'm going to give some quotes from your order because Senator Kennedy is right. This is not a judge's order. This is a political activist. By the way, the beginning of your order says, at birth, people are typically assigned a gender. I got to say that would astonish a lot of Americans. A lot of Americans think you go to the hospital, a baby is born, and congratulations, you have a little boy, a little girl. The assigned a gender, I know you went to Brown, but it sounds like it's in a college faculty lounge with no bearing on reality. The Bureau of Prison argued what I'm saying right now, that if you put this person in a female prison, there will be a risk of sexual assault to the women. And you know what you did? You said you didn't care about the women. I'm going to quote what you wrote. You wrote, quote, the Bureau of Prisons claim penological interest in protecting female prisoners from sexual violence and trauma. This interest is legitimate, that's kind of you to say, but there are no signs that petitioner is at risk of reoffending. The record is devoid of evidence of incidents of violence or assault during petitioner's incarceration when she was the perpetrator, only the victim. A theoretical risk of sexual assault by the prisoner without more cannot support the BOP's position. No evidence, theoretical. Have you dealt, in what universe is someone who is a serial repeat child rapist not at a risk of reoffending?
Senator, as I do in every case.
I know you've been told to repeat the line, I follow the law. I asked a question. In what universe is someone who is a serial repeat child rapist not at risk of reoffending?
Sir, I looked at the facts that were before me in this case. All of the evidence, including the statements of every warden who had supervised this petitioner.
You also wrote, the BOP also posits that permitting petitioner to live among women will be traumatizing and possibly dangerous to them. This concern is overblown. I have to say, if I were the father of one of those women, and you decided that my daughter's cellmate was going to be a 6'2" man who over and over and over again committed violent sexual assault, I would say the entire justice system is absurd, and it is clear on your record your political ideology matters a heck of a lot more than the rights of those women that you endangered. I think you're a radical, and I think you have no business being a judge.
I've got a problem that I'm pretty sure you can help me with. Yes, you will be paid for helping me. Actually paid really, really.
Judge Netburn, there was an opportunity during your exchange with Senator Cruz that you were attempting to offer a response relative to the conditions under which this petitioner was unsafe in the facilities in which she was being held. I'd like to offer you the opportunity to finish that response.
So the facts that were presented to me and what I relied on to make my decision were that the petitioner had engaged in no violence, no physical violence, no acts of sexual violence whatsoever while in custody. All three wardens who supervised the petitioner requested that she be transferred to a women's facility because of her serious medical needs. In addition, the Bureau of Prisons' longtime medical provider testified at a 2-day hearing in my courtroom and recommended that the petitioner be transferred because of her serious medical needs. And the last thing I'll say is that the Transgender Executive Council, which is the body that makes decisions on behalf of transgender transfer requests within the Bureau of Prisons, never said that the petitioner could not be transferred, and never, ever said that she couldn't be transferred because of any risk of violence. What the Transgender Executive Council repeatedly said in denying the request was simply that she needed to maintain her hormone levels. That was the repeated justification for the denial of transfer. But the petitioner had reached full female hormone levels before even being incarcerated. At the time, the district judge in Indiana who sentenced the petitioner requested that she be placed in a women's facility. Her hormones were entirely female at that point, and so the decision by the Transgender Executive Council to deny the transfer request based on this idea that it was only because her hormones needed to be consistent and stabilized, I found was a pretext, but they never once said she cannot be transferred because of violence. It was always based on this idea that her hormones had to be.
Thank you, Judge Netburn. Senator Padilla.
Judge Netburn, that's
Senator
directly contrary to what your report
you all
said.
have
That is
had
directly
No.
We're going to follow up, and that's how it works.
There is not.
That is exactly how it works.
Look,
if you follow up, you didn't get extra time, and she just directly contradicted her own report. I'm just going to read her own words because it's exactly the opposite of what she said. Your own report.
Senators, I gave both of you more time to finish your line of questioning. I allowed the witness to finish her. I allowed the witness to finish her response. I allowed the witness to finish her response. That is,
I understand that you're scared of the facts.
I have
Senator Padilla. Madam Chair, she has an obligation to explain why she directly contradicted what she wrote in her report. She says in her report, the Bureau of Prisons' claimed penological interest is in protecting female prisoners from sexual violence and trauma. She just told you the Bureau of Prisons didn't say there was a concern about sexual violence and trauma. Those are directly contradictory, and why are you contradicting what you wrote in your report?
And what are you trying to hide, Madam Chair? No, wait, point of order.
Senator Padilla.
Are you going to let her answer that question?
Senator
or you don't want her to answer that question?
Senator Padilla.
Very much, Madam Chair.
Senator
afraid of the answer to that
question? Cover-up.
Are you afraid of the answer to that question?
Senator Padilla.
So yes, you are afraid of the answer to that question.
Senator Padilla.
Clearly, you're afraid of the answer to that question.
This is absurd.
Two of the nominees before us, appreciate your patience and your dignity.
Yeah, patience and dignity while you lie your ass off and contradict your own written statements. But yeah, that's all about the patience and dignity, right? Anyway, so we're down to, where are we at now? Got about 12 minutes left. So, of course, we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about Memorial Day. I want to just take a second to give shout-outs to both of my grandparents, both my grandfathers on my mother's side and my father's side that fought in World War II, who are both deceased now. They lived through it, but I will say that war and the depression that came before that war messed with a lot of folks. I remember my dad having to go through my granddad's closet and literally finding over 100 pairs of shoes because he had sometimes no shoes when he was a child. And he swore he would never go through that again. But don't forget, while everybody's doing their barbecues tomorrow, whatever you're going to be doing for Memorial Day, it's not really what it's about. It's a great time to get together with family and friends and have a good time. But please remember what Memorial Day is actually supposed to be about. And we've started trying to lump all these things together. We make Memorial Day, Veterans Day, and all those things kind of the same. It's really not. This one is specifically for those who fought for the country and are no longer here. Whether they died in service or died after their service, it is a time to remember them and remember the things that they have done for you and for us. So we need to remember those things. And I was going to try to find some audio today because I saw it on the news today and went to go try to find the clip, and now I can't find it. But there was a child who at a Catholic school, no less, was running for a position in the school, that a leadership position in his class at the school that involved school functions as well as patriotism. So the kid was wearing a "Make the School's Name Great Again" hat. Of course, it was red with white. But he was told he couldn't give his speech because it was problematic. And in his speech, he started talking about how patriotism needs to be something that we are taught again in this country. How people need to understand that if you don't, and my girlfriend's about to laugh at this if she's still in the chat, but if you don't understand the words of the Pledge of Allegiance when you're reciting them, you might as well be reciting the lyrics to Taylor Swift's "Shake It Off." And that kind of resonated with me. Because in this country, a lot of times we do things because we think we're supposed to, because we've been told that we should, and a lot of times we do them without thinking about the meaning of those things. And for a kid in elementary school to point that out, and at a Catholic school no less, to have the school say that he could still run for the position, but he wasn't allowed to give his speech because they found some of the language problematic, because he was speaking the truth about how you have civic duty and responsibilities in this country, how patriotism at one point was baked in and being taught, and it's really not anymore. Do you realize with Gen Z, 37% of Gen Z considers themselves patriotic? 37%. And it's because it's not being taught anymore. So somewhere along the way, things started shifting. Parents started looking at it as the responsibility of the schools to teach their children the things that they needed to know, instead of making it still ultimately their responsibility. And this started happening when my kids were little. My youngest is now about to be 24 in a few months. But even when he was in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade, I realized they weren't teaching history class the way they used to. They weren't teaching about the Constitution. They weren't teaching about the Declaration of Independence. And it saddened me. But then I got angry about it. Because then I realized if it was happening with him, it had probably been happening with the rest of them, and I didn't really notice it as much. So I got really strict with him. Now, my other kids did still have to do extra homework. They had to be able to basically, they had summer homework with me. They had to be able to explain to me why the Declaration of Independence was important, break down the separate parts of the Constitution and why those matter, those kind of things. And even for my youngest, he had to be able to prove to me that he could at least read in cursive, even if he struggled with writing in it, because they stopped teaching it when he was in 3rd grade, the same year that he was actually going to start being able to learn it. But this is why all of these things matter. If we don't understand our history, if we don't understand the reason why the people that came before us made the choices that they made, both good and bad, then we are doomed to repeat some of those very same mistakes. And this is why it is such a huge problem when people stop teaching why this country matters. This country matters because we are the life raft for all of Western civilization and most of the world at large. We are the ones keeping everything afloat. The problem is we can't do it anymore, which is why our country is finally starting to fall apart, because we're sending too much of our money elsewhere. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't think we should still be helping people. It means that we need to start being selective about who we help and why, instead of using wars as giant money laundering schemes. And for those of you who didn't catch the little fine print with the Ukraine bill a while ago, I just want to remind you that at one point, the Democratic senators to get the American people on board reminded us that over 80% of that funding that we were fighting over was going to go right straight back into the American industrial complex. Now, being patriotic doesn't mean that you embrace every war. Being patriotic means that you understand what this country stands for, what it is that we should be fighting for when we decide we need to fight, whether it's enemies foreign or domestic. Now, what tomorrow is about is remembering all of those people that came before you that give you the right and the ability to have the barbecues and everything else that you're having tomorrow. And that, as we start closing out the show, is going to be what I'm going to be asking you guys to do for tonight and tomorrow. Say a prayer for the families who have been impacted with all of the things that have happened, especially under Biden's watch. We have people that have not been allowed to come home, who were doing what they thought they were supposed to do for their country, and he left them behind. We lost our minds when, four people that died in Benghazi? They left hundreds behind in Afghanistan. I hear almost nobody talking about that. Myself included, because we are so deluged with new noise and new news every single day, and it's just so hard to keep up. And I'm starting to think they do it on purpose. All right. Well, we are going to get ready to get out of here. But before I close out the show, I'm going to end how I normally do on Memorial Day. So bear with me for a second while we get this queued up. Maybe. Oh, that's why. Okay, I think I figured it out. Maybe.
The United States Coast Guard. United States Space Force. United States Air Force.
All right, folks. Well, that's going to do it for this particular episode. Don't forget, tomorrow afternoon we will have a Memorial Day edition of the Rick Robinson Show, as it's probably going back to Monday through Friday anyway, because Monday's not really going to be able to be a day off for me anymore. Except for, I think I may still do like the one Monday a month for like appointments and stuff that I don't have to worry about doing anything. So that will probably still be a day off. But that's going to put us to most months doing 5 days a week again. Or most weeks anyway. All right, so on that note, we do have to get out of here. We're just going to go out with something random because I didn't really think that far ahead. So anyway, this is a good one, and it's Sunday night, so we're going out mellow. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you guys tomorrow afternoon. Thank you so much for hanging out. Bye.